Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, the question recently has been, can young people ever own a home? And shy of a 1920s style market crash, it's not looking good at all. I have here an article from National Post. This is a few days ago. Sabrina Maddow says Chrystia Freeland's budget crushes, got crash on the mind, crushes millennial home buyers' dreams. Federal budget 2022, Liberals' plan for housing affordability rests on little more than a hope and a prayer. I have some bad news for young Canadians who hope to one day own their own home. If the Liberal 2022 budget is any indication, it's not going to happen anytime soon. While housing is a major pillar of the document, new measures announced in it are entirely inadequate to face Canada's severe affordability crisis. Now, this came out just prior to the bill being released. Yesterday, USA Today had this article out. Ottawa, Ontario. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government announced Thursday it will ban foreign investors from buying homes in Canada for 2 years in a bid to cool off the housing market. Now, if you recall, a few years back, it was Chinese investors laundering their money through the housing market was the blame. That's all the news we got on the West Coast of why Vancouver prices were going so high. Turned out it was like less than 1% of the market, but nonetheless, it was the scapegoat at the time. It's no longer the scapegoat because they don't want to inadvertently vilify any rich Chinese people coming out of China. I'm not talking about your average Chinese person. I'm talking about rich Chinese people that could buy a house cash. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland took a number of measures to tamp down speculation and demand amid record home prices. In announcing the federal budget for the year, the federal government announced a 2-year ban on foreign home buying, as well as higher taxes for people who sell their home within a year. Remember that, within a year. Though both measures include multiple exemptions, including for permanent residents and foreign students. So very little they're doing. Very little at all. The budget also includes billions for new housing and measures to help Canadians trying to get into the market, including a new savings account and changes to the first time home buyers tax credit. So it's a tax-free savings account when people aren't saving. The costs of living are going up, and they're saying, hey, we won't charge you taxes if you just save some money. Yeah, that might be difficult. And the tax-free savings account is great, but if the prices of houses aren't going down anytime soon, well, that doesn't help. The rest of the article goes on about Ukraine, and it looks like the writer of this article just wanted to talk about Ukraine at all. On the interest rate market, we can see that interest rates came up slightly after 2018, only to dip way lower and have a modest rise. So we're still at record low interest rates, which means this is just going to speculate the market up further. That's the case there. Now, I was talking about taxes on houses prior. So what they're saying is they're going to tax people who sell the house sooner than a year. I mean, that's always been the case. So profits and gains taxes are part of, if you buy a house and then sell the house and make a profit on it, you have to pay profits and gains tax. Now, a little loophole that people have been using in this housing market is buying a house, holding on to it for a year, and as long as you're considered a resident of the house, all you have to do to prove that is have a utility bill in your name. So just hook up to BC Hydro, for example, in British Columbia. And after 1 year, year to date, you can sell that house, and any profit from it is exempt from profits and gains. So that appears to still be the case, and this is what a lot of speculators are using because all they have to do is just make that their permanent or their residence. As long as that house is their residence, and it is so for a year, they don't actually check to see if anyone's physically in it. And it's notorious that in Vancouver, there are so many houses that don't even have renters and don't have occupants. They just have these empty neighborhoods, entire empty neighborhoods. Now, Pierre Poilievre taking to Vancouver to say a few words. Big city gatekeepers, he calls it, like Vancouver City Hall, are destroying the home ownership dreams of working class youth. And here's his example of some of the prices in Vancouver.
Want to see a $5 million house here in Vancouver? Feast your eyes on the home of your dreams. Here it is. $4.8 million is the listing price for this baby. Now, before I go any further, let me acknowledge that a realtor would tell you you could tear it down and build more units on it. The place next door appears to have about 6 units on a similar footprint of land. So let's say that you get 6 units right here. Well, that works out to $800,000 for every single unit just in land costs. But then, of course, you'd need materials and labor to build, and you'd need all the government permits and building approvals from City Hall. So that means
that's just to build the units right there. Those units are going to go for a lot more money than that. Believe me, each unit is going to go for over $1 million easy. And this is a real estate. This is the real estate industry in Vancouver. You don't have single people coming in and buying properties like this. This is like conglomerates. These are companies that are coming in. They're investing that millions. Then they're investing in getting the permits, and they have close ties, in the council. And so you grease a couple of palms, you get the permit, you split the property up, and you make these houses on it, and then you flip the houses. That's the market here.
That each unit is going to be over $1 million. $1 million for the privilege of living in a multi-unit housing situation that would ultimately mean a mortgage for many people of $950,000. Who can afford payments on a $950,000 mortgage, forget property taxes and utilities? Why is it that Vancouver has the 3rd most unaffordable housing market on planet Earth, ahead of Manhattan, Los Angeles, London, England, and even Singapore, all places with more money and people, but less land?
Yeah, it's just insane. It is just insane. I'm gonna leave this video in the description down below so you can check it out for yourself. It's like a 4.5-minute video. He goes on to explain what he believes is the reason behind the housing market. He talks about the gatekeepers. One thing he doesn't talk about, though, that I've noticed in the marketplace, and this should be a no-brainer for most people, and that's who has a vested interest in keeping these prices high. I mean, every municipality around the country gathers their tax revenue based on the assessed value of properties in your neighborhood. And we've all seen our property values go up and our tax burden go up in our municipalities. I mean, every municipality has a vested interest. I mean, it's built into the system for them to want higher and higher budgets. They've got all these ideas of things that they want to spend your money on. But bidding up the price, or if the price is bid up, you can't assess your own home, get an assessment done, and then submit that to the government for what you should pay your taxes on. No, they make a generic assessment, and they hire the people to assess the price of the homes in your neighborhood. And so they have a vested interest in making sure this market stays high. If the market dips and goes lower, you'll see a lot. I'm sure you'll see a lot of municipalities ignoring phone calls about getting reassessments done. But I don't see the market going down anytime soon unless it comes way down in a real hurry. But that would probably be at the cost of our entire economy, meaning a currency crisis. But I'll leave it at that. The question of the day here today is, what do you think is the main thing driving this housing market? Do you think it's corruption in government? Do you think it's outside speculators coming into the Canadian market? What I see is a lot of people wanting a home. We have another element to this is we have more people coming in So we have a faster rate of growth due to immigration, and we have people who need to have a roof over their heads. So either they're getting into the market buying or they're getting into the market renting. Either way, there's not enough homes in the marketplace. So and then again, the other aspect that Pierre Poilievre is talking about is the inability for people to build homes of their own due to red tape and regulation. So the question today is, what do you think is driving this market? What do you think is causing the trouble? Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Keep on trucking.